So it's December 26th, 2015, day after Christmas, and trying to get some shit done here. Kind of want to actually talk about why form doesn't matter, or I should say when form doesn't matter, because a lot of the time we find a way to always fucking pussy out, or find the easy way out to sort of not have to do the hard work. You know, if you've been following me for any period of time, you know that I'm a technical guy. I'm pretty analytical. Analytical to a point of being fucking lazy. I'm trying to get the most leverage as I possibly can out of the bar and maximize my abilities through skill and technique, when in fact the one thing that I need to do is toughen up, quiet down that bitch inside me, and just fucking lift some weights. Because right now, I'm about 20 minutes, I have 22 minutes left to my workout because I have a time limit when I work out in my home at the garage, because I can't be working all day. I got a family to take care of, to hang out with. And I'm just thinking about kind of like what I could do instead, or what I should be focusing on when I train, because when you don't have as many obligations, or if you prioritize your training and you spend more time on training, it's so easy to just spend the entire time just fucking working out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, let's not hurt my hip, right? Let's not have my hip bother me. And that's sort of what's going through my head. I kind of feel it. It's getting, I don't know if it's getting hot or it just feels weird, but I can tell you right now that all I can really say is, this is hard. Fucking 275. I can still pull 450. I might be able to pull 400 if I prep up properly. I'm probably maybe about a month away of deadlifting for 4 weeks. A month away from deadlifting 500 pounds. But one of the biggest challenges now is actually just being able to fucking get back to training volume. Like, this is kind of why programming, in my opinion, doesn't matter nearly as much as just training in general, because it's really just about pushing yourself on a consistent basis. A lot of the time, it's so easy to make fun of people who don't work out on a regular basis. It's so easy to make fun of people who don't lift heavy. And I actually don't know where I'm going with this. My point is, I'm just killing time because I have to get back to my set. All right, still my motherfucking set. Time to lift. Analyzing my deadlift, you can kind of see how this goes. I'm thinking about my lifting. I just deadlifted 315 for 5 reps, and I'm not quite trying to get the best leverage out of the bar, meaning that I'm almost pulling RDL, or like a slight stiff-legged, if that makes any sense. Because I'm trying to improve hamstring flexibility. I'm also trying not to cheat too much of my leverage. And when I mean cheat too much of my leverage, what I essentially basically mean is I'm trying to get to the perfect deadlift pull position, whereas what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to push through the ground, if that makes any sense. Because if you know anything about deadlifting, or you know what I'm talking about, what the perfect deadlift is really having that perfect spot that's just below your hamstrings tugging. And what that means is you get the glute activation at the bottom of the motion, and you get a ton of leverage. It's hard to describe. But I'm basically gonna overlay this audio that I'm talking in between sets over my workout, because it's been quite some time since I made a video like this. And I've made some videos that I meant to put commentary over, but fuck. A lot of the time, if you know anything about, if you're familiar with people who make YouTube videos, or if you make YouTube videos yourself, like, if you don't fucking publish it right away, you're just not gonna publish at all. And, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Who knows if you're gonna actually even get to watch this video, because I swear to God, there's like literally dozens of videos I haven't even posted because, well, probably editing, maybe a little bit of fear, probably a little bit of both. All right, getting back on topic about deadlifting, all I'm thinking about right now is, I got a side view recording right now, and I don't know if I'm going to take the time to edit this in here, but I'll see if I can. I'm just recording my side view. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to see exactly how good my form is, how good my curve in my lower back is. Because a lot of the time that's really what it is usually going to be, the lower back curve. Because once that lower back starts to round, that's basically when you start to see faults in technique and form. See, it looks pretty good. You know, when you get a little bit of rounding in the back, another thing that you might notice that I'm doing in these sets is that I'm doing double overhanded, which means I'm not doing the mixed grip, which means it's harder to grip the bar. That means the bar is starting to slip out of my hands when I get over 300 pounds. I don't have the strength like I used to because of not lifting heavy on a consistent basis. I found that if I could just somehow improve my double overhanded grip strength, I'll be stronger, because the reality is it takes it being harder but requiring more mental effort. Like, you really have to squeeze the bar at the beginning of the lift. You can't, you know, there's one thing to run and like run hard, and there's one thing to run and just kind of run. Fuck, I don't know where I'm going with this. My point is that you're going and you can just go somewhat hard, maybe 80%, and then there's like 100% or near 100% where you're really trying to give it all you got. And it's my opinion that you really can't do that unless you do double overhanded. And what I guess the other thing too to consider when I talk about this whole idea of giving 100% into the barbell, or as far as when it comes to deadlifting with double overhand grip versus mixed grip, it's really just being able to exert your entire effort into the bar so hard that you have to physically think about it. Like, because a lot of time with mixed grip, you don't even have to think about it. Like, everyone sort of has, you know, I mean, at my strongest, my mixed grip strength compared to my double overhanded strength was well over 100 pounds. And I'm pretty sure for anyone that's proficient in deadlift, they can attest that it's what it is. I mean, when you're a beginner, mixed grip actually feels worse because you're not used to it. And if you are used to mixed grip when you flip the arms over, all that really does is just prevents the bar from rolling out of your hands, especially if you're using like a real deadlift bar or like a Texas bar, because typically a traditional powerlifting bar for competition, the knurling is much sharper, and the barbell that I use in the federation that I use in USPA, I think USPA, Denison's federation, is that it's really difficult to how do you say, give it all you. I mean, the barbell knurling digs into your fingers. Great for singles, for like max effort, not great for multiples, like what I'm doing today. So this is me blabbering. I'm just trying to toughen up my publishing chops, meaning just trying to get this video published. That's essentially all I'm really thinking about at this moment. It's like, okay, am I going to publish this video? Okay, don't be scared, Ryan. Just fucking publish the video. It's not bad. I mean, the people are not going to, not very many people are going to watch this video, so you have nothing to be worried about. That was pretty exhausting. I mostly stopped because I can't hold the bar anymore. Not without it slipping. On that first set, you might have saw, or that last set I just did, you might have saw first set of 4 touch and go repetitions. My shoulders began to round. I just started to lose a lot of upper back tightness. The reps were pretty slow, and since they were pretty slow, they made it so that I couldn't hold the bar. You know, well, I can't keep my position. Like right now, I'm pretty confident I can just pick this up under over without even thinking about it. But I couldn't do that overhanded. That was pretty cool. This is how I really like to work out. It's where I just goof off and try different things. I randomly picked up some extra repetitions just now because I'm sitting here at this box or this chair. Excuse me. I'm sitting here at this chair and I'm just thinking to myself, man, this is a great teaching tool. You know, it's basically near the same height that I would deadlift from, right? So, you know, I'm sitting down about to deadlift, and let's go see where my pull position would be. My pull position is about here. So that's maybe 3 inches away from the box my butt is. So this is the thing I love about training. So I just fuck around. Like I just try a bunch of things, and then I get excited because this is what I find the most fun. You know, it's just about 3 inches. That was a little high. When I say it's a little high, my hips came up a little too soon from my ideal pull position. So if you think about this ideally, so if I pulled from here, this height, my butt coming off the box, what would that look like? Let's do mixed because I just don't have enough strength anymore. I'm tired. You know what? I've never had anyone show that anywhere. So this might be the first time you've ever seen a deadlift done like this. And if you've seen this somewhere else, I don't care, I'm gonna take credit for this. Because what I basically did is I sat down on it a little bit. You know, I used my butt as a cue, the feeling of this, my butt touching the plates as my cue. And it helps me sit back and then push. Because after you sit back, you engage your posterior chain, and then you push, right? And then your upper body is just rigid. Let's go see if I can do that again. That was pretty cool. So maybe I can get these plates to slide this way when I do it. Now that wasn't really ideal because as the plates left the ground, my upper back began to round. And when my upper back began to round, it was like my body was going down as my hips were going up. So it's almost like if this was my butt and this was my shoulders, it was kind of like boom, like that. I don't know if that makes any sense. So at some point during the movement, my hips were going up, but the bar was going down or staying in the same place because of upper back rounding. And that gets my brain turning a lot more too. This is why when it comes to powerlifting and for 1 rep max, speed is so important, because if you get the bar moving fast enough, you can essentially get out of that sticking point. You know this is. So when you essentially, hips are here, shoulders are here from deadlift position, conventional, right? So then you start to come up both at the same time, or I should say hips are coming back and up a little bit as the shoulders begin to go fulcrum with the rest of your body. But then if your upper back gives, the shoulders will start to round as the hips go up just a little bit, and then you finish the movement. So it's kind of like boom, 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 right? It doesn't quite look like that because the upper back begins to round a ton, and then if the upper back rounds too much and you lose leverage, you'll round your lower back more because that brings the bar closer to the hips. And just gets me going because I'm thinking to myself, thinking about speed, why speed is so important. So if there's anything that I need to work on is my speed, because I already have really, really good like single strength. I mean, like if I worked up to, if my plan was to work up to 100%, I could probably work up to 460 with a belt. Without a belt, probably low fours, maybe high three, probably 410 pounds, maybe not. But then there would be a lot of form degradation because what will end up happening is I'm losing upper back tightness. Like really one of the biggest things that I have weakness in, I have specificity weakness. When I have specificity weakness, my body is sort of not used to the technique. Because you remember, like, if you think about it, especially for powerlifting competition, every deadlift is a little bit different. I mean, the way you deadlift 70% is different than you deadlift 90%, duh. But the way you deadlift 70% for 6 to 10 reps or max reps is different than when you would deadlift 70% for singles, So this is kind of why speed work has some value. It's pretty confusing. But that's kind of the fun of it. You kind of get to tinker around. I mean, that's so easy for me to just get caught up in a rabbit hole and just continue to learn. If there's one thing that I'll say when it comes to training and deadlifting is, I relate it to life a lot. The way you train is very much related to life. I mean, doesn't necessarily carry over, but they're interrelated, guaranteed. Meaning the way you approach your training, the way you approach shitty repetitions, shitty sets, crappy workouts, bad attitudes, feeling like a pussy, all these kind of bad feelings, you know, are sort of something that you might do which sort of carries over into lifting. I mean, to life. So it's kind of like if you approach lifting from a very confident mindset, it's sort of easy to sort of get that to full spill over into your real life. And you know, I've talked a lot about this before, but if there's anything that powerlifting, deadlifting specifically has done for me, it just showed me like, hey, you know, there's stuff that you can do that you think you couldn't do. And, you know, and as I, you know, broke 500 pounds in deadlifting and got real stronger, I just started to think like, hey man, you know, why can't I apply what I do with weightlifting to what I want to do online and building a business and building my family and just doing everything else I want to do in life? Like, what if I could just take all this stuff that the sort of the mystic, or I don't know, the programming aspect of like getting better at lifting and applying it to my life. You know, of all the things I want to accomplish in business and things I want to accomplish in my family and things I want to accomplish overall in life. And I'm sharing this with you because, I mean, I don't know where you're at in your life or kind of what you're doing, but I do know that, you know, you're watching this channel, you're watching this video, you love weightlifting to some degree, you love training, you enjoy it, and you have ups and you have downs, but it's no different than life. But if you can just just think about that for a second. You know, I did this to a client the other day, which was really cool. You know, he's into motorcycles, you know, and I just said, hey, you know, like he did dirt biking pretty hardcore. And then he said to me, and I said to him, he's like, you know what, you did motocross or, you know, motorcycle riding, dirt bike riding pretty hardcore, and you're up at a high level, ranked pretty high, you know. I mean, imagine if you just applied sort of that killer instinct to like what you did here in the gym. Man, you're gonna get fucking ripped, man. Just think about that for a second. And then like it was like this little switch that went off in his head. And then he just, you know, when we were doing some burpees, he was all like, man, checkered flag. And it kind of gave me like a little buzz. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that I can do that for somebody or help. Because, you know, everything that we ever want to accomplish is totally within us. And I know that sounds so cliche and a little corny, but it really is. It's just really about finding the language that speaks to you, you know. Like, for example, like in the fitness YouTube realm, a lot of people seem to not like Lane Norton for nutrition stuff, particularly because of YouTube drama or whatever's going on. But, you know, but then it doesn't really matter. I mean, my point is that he just has an opinion or a way of communicating something that some people don't like. And vice versa, you know, like with Kelly Starrett and Mobility WOD, and then you got Chad Wesley Smith and Ryan something. He's a physical therapist with JTS Strength. They have a way of explaining things, but everyone's kind of saying the same thing. It's just that, you know, you gravitate more towards one person or style of communication that's going to motivate you to get you to your goal. And that's really what it is. You know, sometimes we overanalyze, and it's okay to overanalyze like I do, but you don't want to overanalyze the wrong thing. Like in internet marketing, like what I'm trying to do, they say, you know, like, you know, you think about for emails, like, because I write emails a lot, is like, do you write emails to, should you use MailChimp, or should you use one software, or you should use another software? It doesn't even matter which one you use. It's not going to have that much of an impact. What you write in the email is going to matter. You know, how you get the emails matter. How you get your leads matter. You know, it's almost like it doesn't matter what program you do. Almost, you know, it really matters how you approach the bar. It matters your mindset when you lift. It matters your training philosophy. You know, like Jim Rohn, one of my favorite motivational speakers, he says, you know, the most important thing in your life is your personal philosophy. And you know, and I haven't heard a lot of people say that a lot of the time, but it is, you know, think about it. It's the way you approach life. It's not like, oh, black and white, or this is what you should do if you get hurt, or this is what you should eat when you're trying to lose weight. Or it's more like your overall arching philosophy of how you approach your life or how you approach training. And if you can kind of just do that, it's not like, oh, I need to do what this person says. I need to do what Ryan says. I need to do what my coach says. It's more than that. It's more like you take everyone's inputs and then you make your own decision. That's really what it is. If you could just do that, think about how much better you would get. Because then you take someone's input, you get your own input, and then you try it, and then you do well, or you do bad, or you fail, or you do really good, and then you try to make it better. even if you do great or if you do bad, you make a decision for like how you're going to improve your results, right? You're gonna make an adjustment. I think the biggest challenge though is a lot of us don't get started. So I'm going on a little tangent here, but so a lot of the time, this is kind of why form doesn't quite matter, is if you haven't started, it almost doesn't matter nearly as much as you think. As long as you have safe form, you just gotta lift some weights and then just build upon each workout. When you get to the highest level, that's when it matters, but I mean, a lot of people are not at the highest level. There's just so much to learn and so much to do. And I mean, overall, I just hope you got something out of this video. You know, my class is the classic YouTube Ryan kind of talking about form and philosophy and training. Hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you haven't already. If you'd like to hear more stuff like this, I write a lot, so I write emails. So you subscribe to my email list. There'll be a link somewhere on the screen or in the description in case you're interested. But yeah, that's all I got for today. If you like more of these videos, I'm telling you, if you comment, I'll make another video sooner than later. I don't know when, I'm not gonna promise, but I'll definitely make it sooner than later. And it also tells me if you watch to the end too, because that's basically what I'm saying. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all on the next video.